Welcome back, everybody. I'm Michael Foley, and in this video, I'm going to show you all the equipment you're going to need in order to start sparring. So I just want you to keep in mind that it's not always the best brand name or the most expensive piece of equipment that's going to be best for what you need. Here's a couple of things you got to keep in mind. Let's start with shin gear. At a bare minimum, you're going to want to get something like this, and this is like a sock style pull-on shin and instep. It doesn't offer a lot of padding, but it does give you some. The benefit of these is they're super cheap. You can get these on Amazon. The thing I like about them the most is you can throw these in the washing machine and get them clean after every practice. Now, if you're coming from a karate or a taekwondo background, these might look familiar. This is the karate style shin gear. They don't have an instep that covers up your foot, so you're gonna wanna combine these with something like this. It's a karate style boot, and tuck the back of it in like this. This is also an okay place to start. My number one pick if you're gonna start sparring, especially with full contact sports, are shin gear like these. Okay, the beauty of these is it's got a wraparound style. You're gonna have some extra padding when you're checking leg kicks to the inside or outside, but this is also really thick right here, so you're gonna be able to take a lot of damage all the way down right to your instep. Part people don't like about this is it doesn't cover up your toes, but in combat sports, you really don't wanna be kicking with your foot too much anyways. It's mostly your shin. The downside of these is they're pretty expensive, so you're gonna pay a lot more money for these than you will with the sock style one. Now, the other downside of these is if you don't treat them after every practice, they're gonna get pretty smelly. So these have a bit of a coating on the inside here. Give these a wipe down with like a wet wipe or a disinfectant rag or something like that after every practice, and it should ward that off. The next piece of equipment you're gonna wanna get is a jock with an athletic support. There is a female equivalent. It's usually called a Jill, and you can get them at any sports stores that sell baseball or hockey equipment. Female fighters, some organizations like WACO, which is the biggest amateur kickboxing organization in the world, they require that you wear chest protectors, and they look like this. Now, the next one are hand wraps. There's a couple of things you want to watch out for when you buy these. First of all is the length. These sets of hand wraps cost the exact same amount of money online, but one is 180 centimeters long and the other one is 130 centimeters long. These are both stretchy, but oftentimes what you're gonna do is you're gonna find the shorter ones, 110, 120, 130 centimeters, and they're not gonna stretch at all. You're not gonna get much wrap with that. You're gonna run out of material a little early. So you wanna make sure that you're looking for the stretchy or Mexican style 180 centimeter hand wrap. So here's one piece of equipment that I don't think you could skimp out on at the start, and that's your headgear. A lot of people come to the club and they wanna start sparring and they bring in something like this. If you're gonna do full contact, that is, it's okay for touch contact, but there's a warning label on the back of this that says it's for accidental contact only and not to be used for full contact sports. So if you're gonna be doing full contact, don't get one of these. Now, the next one I see people getting is they're worried about getting hit in the face, so they go out and they buy headgear with cheek protectors. And the whole point of the cheek protector is to block impact on your face, but also a good beefy cheek protector can actually protect your nose as well. My problem is with those headgear is it's designed for boxing. The legal area for boxing is right here on the front and sides of the face. You're not supposed to hit to the back of the head, but when you're talking about combat sports like MMA, kickboxing, Muay Thai, kicks to the side and back of the head happen, and there's not a lot of padding back here on this style headgear. There's also not a lot of padding on top. So for striking sports where you're using your feet, using your legs, I don't recommend these either. Now, the brand that I can wholeheartedly recommend is this one here. It's the top 10. This style right here is the Olympia. It's the older style one. They have a new one called the Avant-Garde. It's slightly more aesthetic, but what I like about this one here is the padding is super absorbent and it goes all the way around, top, back, sides. So there's a ton of protection here. The complaint I see people make is that there's not a lot of protection here for the face, but we're gonna get into this with the gloves now in a second. If you've got your gloves up and this headgear on, your face is pretty well covered unless you get caught. So this one here gives you a ton of padding on the front, back, sides, and top. So this is the one I'd recommend you go with. I bought this one in 1999. So I wore this through most of my karate career, all of my amateur kickboxing career. And after I retired, it was just kind of sitting around the gym. I kept it in pretty good shape, replaced the straps on it 2 or 3 times. Now my son is moving up through the ranks and he's been wearing this for almost 10 years. Now Muay Thai MMA and some kickboxing organizations that don't even allow elbows are going to require you to wear elbow pads. If you're doing Muay Thai sparring, like IFMA rules, they use massive padded elbow pads just so they can make impact with their elbows, and it's a huge safety risk to practice elbows without these. I wouldn't recommend it at all. So if you're looking for elbow pads, the styles I recommend, if you're doing Muay Thai, look for the ones that are marked IFMA approved, IFMA approved. And if you're doing kickboxing, these ones here from Top 10 that say WAKO, W-A-K-O approved, these are great too. Another piece of equipment is the mouth guard. So the mouth guard you want to look for, I'll give you 3 tiers here. You can get super cheap mouth guard that come with a case for just a couple of bucks, maybe $4 or $5 at a baseball equipment store or a hockey equipment store. This is a mid-range mouth guard. I think this one's a Shock Doctor. This is the one I recommend you go with because it gives a good amount of padding. It doesn't just protect your teeth, it also protects against concussions. Now, I've had several different types of mouth guards. I've had the super cheap ones that are like $5. These here are around $20, $30, the Shock Doctor ones. And I've had the super expensive, like $100, $150 custom ones. They're cool because you can get whatever you want written in them, cool colors, stuff like that. But they have to layer them in order to put them together. When you see the pros wearing them, they're wearing like a new mouth guard every other fight. What happened to mine anyways is the layers started to peel and then the writing on the inside started to wear off. So after that, I just kind of gave up and I went back to the Shock Doctor style. So that's a great one to invest in. And now on to everybody's favorite subject, boxing gloves. Where to start? Most people when they come through the club, they go with this. So you can get these at anywhere. Every sports store sells these. It's like the #1 type of boxing glove I see sold and they come through the club. What's good about these is they're inexpensive and these are 16 ounce, so that's the size I recommend you go with. So what I don't like about these is it's like a synthetic material on the outside. It's like a faux leather. This tends to hold up really good and last for a long time. But what tends to happen is the inside starts to fall apart quicker. So my first pair of boxing gloves, I grew up, I used my dad's boxing gloves. He had good leather ringside gloves. But the first pair I got were like synthetic from a different brand. And after about 6 months, the stuffing on the inside was completely gone. The outer shell looked pristine. It looked like the glove was still intact, but there was no foam padding left on the inside. So these are okay to start with, but after 6 months, maybe a year, you're gonna wanna invest in something else. And that leads us to where I'm at with gloves, and I can recommend a ton of different brands. Ringside, Top 10, Twins, Winning. They're all great brands. I like Fairtex. They've got a compact design that fit really well to your fist. They're in 16 ounces. The foam on the inside, it's layered. It's a couple of different layers of foam, and the inside are like a easily clean synthetic material, and it just fits nice and snug on your hand. I feel like I've got a lot of protection and wrist support with these. So these are the ones I prefer. Just remember, it's not about the price or the brand name. I would not cheap out on the headgear, but the rest of the gear, you can start off with entry-level stuff and build up to what it is you're looking for. And typically that's aesthetics, but more importantly, it's got to be about safety. And don't forget to check the used market. So many people start combat sports and buy all the gear in a hurry and then realize that this isn't for me. I don't want to get hit in the face or I don't want to get beaten up. So they end up selling this stuff on Marketplace for super cheap. And that's typically how I see people upgrading their gear at my club. Thanks again for watching. If you haven't already, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I hope this video helped you out. I'm Michael Foley, and I'll see you on the mats.